RFP for a new auditor. And then ultimately, staff brings forward a recommendation based upon that investigation of the underlying proposals received. And in the case of the performance audit, the difference is that the CVOC and the audit subcommittee are involved in that process as well, including being in the interview process for the external auditor.
So you're telling me then that the previous board approved this person?
It's not a person, it's a firm. And it's a nationally recognized firm that's on the state controller's office list. And they had to put in a competitive bid along with however many we got. And
right,
so
it's actually the approvers that I was more speaking to than the approvees.
Okay,
it
so
was approved by the board.
Yeah, it was approved by the school board.
I have concerns about that because we have a new school board now, and we had members on our previous school board who are now under investigation by the FBI, the SEC, and the IRS, and I feel like we should start anew with someone who is selected by the new school board.
So I would have to review the terms of the contract that the board entered into with Bavernick, Trine, and Day. In fact, the audit subcommittee and the CVOC also wanted to see a change in the audit firm. Total School Solutions had been the school district's auditors for many, many, many years. They rejected that audit and chose new auditors, and that was largely driven through conversations with the audit subcommittee and the CVOC. So the team that we have today is a completely different team than anyone we've had before.
They've never done an audit.
They've never done an audit for the CVOC or performance audit in this district. So it is a fresh team. The previous board members had no interaction with them other than being brought their recommendation. This was a CVOC and audit subcommittee run process along with Mr. Coyne, who was our CPA at the time. So we actually do have a brand new audit firm.
At what stage in the completing the audit is, where are they in the completion of the audit?
I'd say they're probably about 80% finished.
Well,
With the performance audit.
I guess I don't understand why we cannot go ahead and do another audit. Since
You can, the board can, as a board, they could vote to do that if that's what the board chooses to do. I just think you should do that with all the information at hand, as opposed, make sure you understand what we're already doing, because it would be, to me, a good financial stewardship to not pay to do something twice.
Right, well, I believe that it would be a good decision to look at the audit that is underway, but I still would like to reserve the possibility of doing another audit if this one doesn't satisfy the interest of the board.
And I think that I would also add that I think that in terms of internal control scope, which we haven't had before, which I really do think we want, that's really what we want to address. I just want to be sure that's included in there. So whether it's with, this is a brand new firm that we haven't had any, we've never approved an audit or seen an audit from them because we haven't. So whether it's with them or whether someone else came in as a third firm to just do the internal control, I think that's worth the conversation. Although it probably is far less expensive not to bring in someone else to have to.
Right, I think it makes a lot of sense to look at the internal controls pieces as it relates to the additional procedures, and then see if there are other procedures that you want to have this, brand new firm that is, we just literally hired like a couple of months ago, perform,
Yeah.
or whether or not you want to go out for an additional RFP. If we bring, which would essentially then be a third firm in, that firm has to come from ground zero. These people have had to come from ground zero in the course of about the last 60 days. We had to buy that time for them.
Right, I understand this is,
Yeah, so, it's one of those things where you say, okay, and then there's also Perry Smith, who has been, an external auditor for us for many, I'm sorry, Crow Horwath, they got bought out.
Right.
Crow Horwath, we could ask them to do an additional procedure
what I'm saying is, I want the board to select the person and, or the firm, rather than just falling back and using someone that we've used
Well,
before.
we haven't used them, but this was the thing.
I thought I saw a report by them.
Yeah, Crow
previously.
Horwath has been the district's external auditor for many years now, and I'm actually going out for an RFP right now for a new audit firm.
Now, is the audit that's being performed at this time including a look at the facilities survey?
That is what the performance audit
Okay,
is
so
specifically.
is it, and how about the I believe that, based on what I'm hearing, there's so much confusion among people from different schools about when their school is going to be done, who's next. I believe we need an updated facilities plan. I think it's extremely important that schools know on what basis we're deciding which school is getting to be next in line for improvements. I don't think it's right for us to hear members of 3 different schools come up here saying they thought they were gonna be next. And I think first we need to make sure that we have money to go ahead with our facilities improvements, and then we need to have a clear plan about which schools are gonna be getting improvements and in what order, rather than doing the schools that are already ready based on DSM approval. I think there has to be a reason other than just being ready to go down the chute. There has to be another reason that we can give our families than that.
But that's not gonna be part of the audit, that's a
That's
separate.
a facility master plan.
Right. And we had talked about that, so that's gonna be, I think, that's on this agenda, but we need to be doing that probably next month, on our next month.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, any more
Thank you, Ms.
questions?
Dunn. I appreciate it.
Sure.
All right, that's good. And so I look forward to hearing whether or not, what I would like to see is where we are with the audit contract and what internal control conversations we actually have built into it, so that we can determine who it is we should do it. Because I totally agree, we need to have an internal control.
Maybe at our next meeting, we're actually bringing forward the performance and financial audit, where we can go over the additional procedures in that.
Right. Right, and what would typically be in an internal controls audit? That's what I would actually.
Well, the additional, so you have the financial audit and the performance
Yeah.
audit, and then items that are above and beyond.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you have to
And some of those may be internal controls related, so,
Yes.
you know,
Okay.
and